That's right, yo. Another Star Wars game is set to rock our galaxy, and this one is an MMO, or Massively Multiplayer Online Game. The force is strong with this one, and Star Wars The Old Republic will allow thousands of players to explore, adventure, and fight in a single game session. The Old Republic takes place more than 3,500 years before the rise of Darth Vader, and it promises to feature immersive storytelling, dynamic combat, and groundbreaking companion characters. With so much galactic-y goodness thrown in, and with such a large fan base to please, who exactly does Daniel Erickson, the lead writer for Star Wars The Old Republic, think this MMO will appeal to?
So people who grew up with the movies from the beginning will be able to come in and see something cool and understand what it is. People who just started watching Clone Wars, right, and that's their total thing. People who know the entire crazy extended universe will come in and see, like, yes, they got it right. They know what they're doing. But everyone will be able to come in, and hopefully this will be where everybody comes for their Star Wars fix for a very long time.
The Star Wars universe is massive thanks to the countless films, TV shows, books, comics, lunchboxes, bedspreads, curtains, etc, etc. And considering the Old Republic draws its inspiration from all aspects of the Star Wars mythology, the game world must be huge. Will it just be one oversized sandbox that players will have to explore?
We're definitely not a sandbox game. We want a directed experience. We want you to always be able to know what you need to be able to do next. You've got a story, you're participating in it, you're making choices, and you're changing how that story affects, but it's always there. At the same time, if you don't feel like playing with your story today, you can go do your multiplayer stories with your friends, you can go hang out and help your friend do his stuff, or you can just go run around and craft and, you know, do PvP and take your pants off and dance on a mailbox, whatever your thing happens to be. That, you know, that's the beauty of having the multiplayer space.
I got arrested for taking my pants off and dancing on a mailbox once, so I wouldn't advise doing that. Honestly, I had to share a cell with a crazy tramp who thought I was Elvis. He told me if I didn't sing Hound Dog for him, he'd eat my face off. Needless to say, I didn't get much sleep that night. Daniel, please tell us about the dialogue in the game while I go and have a little cry.
Right now we've realized that we surpassed 50 novels, like full normal Star Wars novels worth of dialogue, quite a while back, and that's not talking about all the ancillary writing. That's just in VO. They were checking, and they do believe that we are actually the largest voiceover project in entertainment history, period.
Period? Does that mean full stop? Question mark. Who knows, comma. It must be an American thing, full stop. Anyway, even the most heavily written games can get boring for players who have been known to abandon other MMO games like the previous Star Wars Galaxies, which was released in 2003, leaving behind ghost towns if there isn't enough to do. What have the developers of the Old Republic done to ensure that players will not start to find the Old Republic, old?
People, a lot of the times when they start to get a little bit long in the tooth with something, will start playing alts, but the problem is if your alternative characters are merely more of the same, that goes down pretty fast, right? But if you love our game and you're playing it and you're like, man, I wish there was more game, there actually is. Like, and it's more totally different content. You're actually going, hey, they just released another game. I can play that. Also, a lot of it's got to be social glue, right? You want people to have other things to do and other activities out there. You want them to be able to go and do crafting and go and do trading and deal with their guild stuff and really have a reason to hang out and enjoy the space.
Star Wars The Old Republic is the first MMO from BioWare, the makers of the phenomenally successful Mass Effect series, so it's pretty safe to say they know how to deliver a cracking, multi-layered storyline. How will the diversity of this story keep players interested?
For the first time, you can just play a smuggler RPG. And the smuggler RPG is a totally different tone than any RPG you've played. He spends a lot of time, you can be very flirty, everything is always going wrong, you're always in over your head. Everybody in there sort of exists either to be made fun of or for you to, like, you know, sort of get a laugh from. You stop playing that and then you go over and you decide, hey, I'm gonna play a Sith warrior. Very dramatic, very dark, very sort of classical, high drama storytelling, totally different feel. And the great part, of course, is if you've played your smuggler front to back, and then you go and you play the Sith Warrior front to back, you're not going to see a single piece of repeated content because there is no crossover content between the factions.
Thanks, Daniel. The game sounds amazing, and I for one cannot wait to try out the Smuggler RPG, because even though the thought of playing as a double-hard Sith Lord is appealing, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid. The game looks amazing and a Star Wars fan's idea of heaven. Trouble is, even though there have been rumours to the contrary, the Old Republic is still only set to be released on the PC. Fingers crossed that the new PS3 MMO DC Universe Online is successful though, as it could convince LucasArts to roll the game out onto the consoles. Right, that's enough from me. I'm off to beat a Wookiee at HoloChess. Wish me luck.